California Senator Dianne Feinstein chairs the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and joins me now. Senator Feinstein, thank you very much. First of all, your thoughts about the withdrawal. There's been a lot of criticism from John McCain and others about us withdrawing too quickly, not negotiating a longer agreement. Joe Biden told Rachel Maddow this week that even if we had been permitted by Iraq to keep 20,000 troops there, we would not have done that. Is this opening a vacuum that Iranian-supported militias can move into and create a greater sphere of influence for Iran?
Well, let me answer it this way. If the Iraqis don't want us there, if there's no status of forces agreement, if they want us out, and that's the case, we have no legal grounds to stay. The war is essentially over. History will show whether a stable, independent Iraq can, in fact, be developed. Are there still challenges? Absolutely. Nobody knows. Muqtada al-Sadr's Sadrist movement, and he's a Shiite. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll have to wait and see. But the country has a government. It is working its way into democracy, and hopefully it can become both stable and independent.
What is the next step in the region? We're leaving. We are obviously in Kuwait. We're elsewhere. But what do you see as our greatest challenge in Iraq?
Well, right now, all eyes are on Iran. I think whether Iran continues to move low-enriched uranium into Qum to enrich it, or if it's going to begin enriching it, that will kind of launch a new period in this saga. I think Iran is a great potential danger to the entire Middle East, certainly to Israel, and certainly to American interests. So obviously, Iran is a big feature. The rest of the Middle East, the elections in Egypt, whether Egypt's parliament becomes dominantly Salafist Muslim Brotherhood, whether that takes a kind of extreme Islamic bent or not, we don't know. What happens in Tunisia, in Libya, in Bahrain, what happens to the King of Jordan, what happens to Assad in Syria, all of these things remain with question marks on them. It is, from my view, one of the most potentially dangerous and volatile times that we live in.
How much of an intelligence loss do you think we've suffered because of the drone that crashed in Iran, and why didn't we do something to blow it up?
I really, it's difficult to answer those questions, but if you're asking me from my view of whether we lost a lot of intelligence, I suspect that's minimal.
Do you think that we should have done something like others have suggested we should have bombed it, even though it was in their territory, that we should have sent a stealth fighter in and taken it out?
The reasons that are classified, that would be very difficult to do.
Senator, I know there's a lot of fighting right now on the Hill, and you in particular are concerned about agreements that are being forged that would permit, in the defense authorization bill, would permit the indefinite detention of American citizens being held. You fought against it. The White House apparently is willing to cut a deal. This is an agreement between Senators Levin and McCain and others. You and Rand Paul, an unlikely alliance, are thinking about separate legislation now to try to fix this.
Yes, the good news is Senator Leahy has just agreed to be a main co-sponsor of this legislation. I will take it as chairman of Intelligence, he as chairman of the Judiciary. We hope Mr. Paul, Mr. Lee, Senator Udall, Senator Gillibrand, as well as others will go on this legislation. It will essentially prohibit the holding of an American citizen or a legal alien resident from being held without charge or trial. I think that's very important, and the only thing that could change that would be an act of Congress. And that would be whether we're operational under a declaration of war or an authorization for the use of military force. So,
are you disappointed that the White House is willing to go along with this indefinite detention?
I do think that there were some changes in the bill that were helpful to getting the White House's support. And that is that the military presumption is still there. However, the interrogation period is guaranteed not to be interrupted, as I understand. So that is a help. What the administration has wanted was not unreasonable. It was flexibility. It's the ability to evaluate somebody once they're arrested and make a decision on the evidence, whether they're charged in federal court or whether they're charged under military law and tried by a military commission. That's the best of all worlds, and that has worked well for the United States. Mirandizing people, which some say, oh, you can't do this, this is terrible, has not been an impediment. And we have reviewed virtually every case.
Well, it looks like you're moving forward, picking up very powerful sponsors, co-sponsors as well. Dianne Feinstein, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.